Good day, everyone. We are now going to discuss the textual evidence to validate assertion and counterclaims. My name is Gabriel Louis Gomez, your reporter for today, and with me is Marion James Lenon. First, what are assertions? Assertions are declarative sentences that claim something is true about something else. An assertion is an opinion or a claim, and authors make assertions in the text they write. So, here, another definition of assertion. An assertion is a statement used to make a declaration or to express a strong belief on a particular topic, often without evidence. So, identifying assertions is one of the initial steps in becoming a good critical reader, which in turn means that you are able to logically evaluate the claims of the writer. Any writer would want the reader to consider and possibly agree with the claims that he or she puts forward. In the expository writing, assertions become the primary channel for a reader to assent to a claim. So assertions are declarative sentences that claim something is true about something else. So now let's move on. So here are the following examples. So we have 4 bullets. For the first bullet, we can see that the Sampaguita roots are used for medical purposes, such as an anesthetic and a sedative. For the second bullet, we have the Sampaguita belongs to the genus Jasminum of the family Oleaceae. And for the third one, we have the popularity of Sampaguita flowers is the most evident in places of worship. Lastly, Sampaguita are the most beautiful and most fragrant of all flowers. So, examine the text or the given examples and read them carefully. Now, let's move on to the kinds of assertion. So, the first type of assertion is the assertion of, or assertion is a fact. A statement that can be proven objectively by a direct experience, testimonies of witnesses, verified observations, or the results of research. So, the first type of assertion is a fact. This is a statement that can be proven objectively by direct experience, as what I said earlier, testimonies of witnesses, verified observations, or results of researches. Because a statement of a fact can be double checked for accuracy. There is a general agreement about the truth they posit. So, from the examples earlier, what do you think here is the assertion is a fact? If you guess it is the first one, yes, you are right. So this statement is a fact because it can be directly verified by experience or reliable research reports. Spotting a statement of fact is vital in identifying assertions. So again, the Sampaguita roots are used for medical purposes such as an anesthetic and a sedative. So again, this is verified by experience. That's why it is a statement or a assertion is a fact. Moving on to our second type of assertion, it is the assertion of convention. So a convention is a way in which something is done similar to traditions and norms. Conventions depend on the historical precedent, laws, rules, usage, and customs. They, they may sound factual due to their being derived from customs, but because they are socially accepted ways of doing things, they cannot be verified or objectively by measurements. So again, by the examples earlier, what do you think is the second type of assertion in here, or the assertion of convention? If you guess the second one, it is correct. So the Sampaguita belongs to the genus Jasminum of the family Oleaceae, or this statement is a convention because it is based on a classification system made up by the scientist, and it is acceptable to the specific community. Um, that's the reason why it is part of the second type of assertion, or the assertion of convention. For the third example, it is the assertion is an opinion. Opinions are based on the facts, but are difficult to objectively verify because of the uncertainty of producing satisfactory proofs, or proofs of soundness. So this the third type of assertion is the opinion, and opinions result from ambiguities. The more ambiguous a statement, the more difficult it is to verify. Thus, they are open for disputes. So again, the examples here, and if you guess that the third one is the assertion of is an opinion, and you are right. The popularity of Sampaguita flowers is the most evident in the places of worship. As you can see here, the statement is an opinion because it is based on an observation that needs to be proven by studies and repeated observation. There are too many factors involved that make explicit judgment difficult. Now, moving on to our last part, or the fourth type of assertion, it is the assertion is a preference. Preference are Our preferences are based on personal choice, subjective, and cannot be objectively proven or logically attacked. And here, the example, it is automatically on the fourth one. Sampaguitas are the most beautiful and most fragrant of all flowers. And here, as you can see, this statement is a preference because it says a lot about the type of flower that the writer likes. Instead of objectively comparing the qualities of Sampaguitas to that of other flowers. So it is um, a assertion, is a preference because it is personal choice, and the writer wrote the flower that he or she likes. And now, moving on to the formulating of counterclaims, here is Marion James Lenon for this topic.
So, counterclaim. So, what is a counterclaim? Uh, Counterclaim are claims made to refute a previous claim. So, counterclaim is the opposing argument. In other words, it is what you imagine the other side would say about your argument. Counterclaims also provide a contrasting perspective to the main argument. So, introducing a counterclaim. When you introduce the counterclaim, talk about why people believe it and don't talk about if it is wrong or right. So you can start off by you can start your counterclaim by saying it is true that it might seem that some people think, some may say that the opposing view is that. Then and do not introduce your counterclaim in the introductory paragraph. Yeah. So These are the following questions that will help you to formulate a counterclaim. Why are the major points? What are the major points on which you and the author can disagree? Uh, what is their strongest argument? What did they say to defend their position? Uh, what are the merits of their view? Uh, what are the weaknesses or shortcomings in their argument? Are there any hidden assumptions? Which lines from the text best support the counterclaim you have formulated? Next. Next. So rebuttal. What is the rebuttal? After you introduce the counterclaim, you then have to discuss why the counterclaim is correct. So basically, rebuttal is your way of saying, no, you are wrong, and here is why. The rebuttal is another supporting reason why your point of view is correct. Next. Next. So example, the team sports should be required in middle school. Some may believe that the team sports could intimidate the children. Some children may be physically smaller than others. Others may not be as athletic as the other team members. When they cannot run as fast as the other team members or are not agile, they fear ridicule. So that is our counterclaim. And then the next part is our rebuttal. However, to work as part of the team is essential to success in many other areas. Uh, Children have to learn to cooperate in both at home and school. In school, children are expected to work together without conflict. At home, children are expected to be part of the family team and help with the chores they need to be done. So that is the rebuttal. Again, rebuttal is basically your way of saying no, you are wrong, and here is why. Rebuttal, you must also use evidence for your rebuttal, like quotes, paraphrase, or summary with citation. Next. Next. So determining textual evidence. But first, why do we need to determine textual evidence? Uh, Evidence is required both in writing and daily. Uh, Evidence because they are facts and info that supports our claim. Without evidence, our claim will be less credible and reliable. Just like in research, we need to survey, observe, and even look in other studies that same with the hypothesis so that it will weigh the validity and reliability of our study. Uh, uh, to evaluate the author's argument, you should determine the evidence from the text, and this will allow you to validate assertions of the author and your counterclaims as a response to reading. Example, when you tell about your friend your favorite movie, you need to provide evidence as to why you like the movie. Like, what is the movie all about? And what makes you like the movie? Uh, the evidence provided by the writer substantiates the text. It reveals and builds a reposition of the writer and makes the writing more interesting. Evidence is crucial in swaying the reader to your side. Next.
So here, facts can include the following: facts and statistics objectively validated information on your subject, opinion from experts, leading authorities on a topic such as researchers or academics, and personal anecdotes, generalizable, relevant, and objectively considered. So now, here are the following characteristics of a good evidence. A good evidence is unified, relevant to the central point, specific and concrete, accurate, and lastly, it is representative or typical. And I guess that is the last part of our reporting. And thank you for listening. Again, I am Gabriel Louis Gomez, and my partner is my Marion James Lenon. And that is all. I hope you learned something from us, and see you on our next topic.